Have you ever forgotten meat in the freezer for a couple of years? Now imagine forgetting a mammoth for 30,000. Yep, Earth has a peculiar way of preserving its remains. The permafrost, a kind of natural freezer that has stored everything from cave lions with intact whiskers to baby horses with full manes. And the most impressive part? These frozen discoveries aren't just bones. They're surprise packages from the Ice Age, with skin, muscles, teeth, eyes, and sometimes even that old animal smell included. In this video, or post, you'll discover the 9 most insane and incredibly well-preserved prehistoric animals ever found in ice. But before we get started, make sure to subscribe to our channel and leave your like. Now let's get started. Number 8. Dogore. In 2018, in Yukon, Canada, a surprising archaeological discovery shook the scientific community and fascinated the entire world. During an excavation expedition, a canine pup, an astonishing 18,000 years old, was found perfectly preserved. The animal was frozen in a block of permafrost, which allowed its remains to stay almost completely intact over millennia. It wasn't just another fossil from a distant era, but an incredibly well-preserved specimen. Fur, snout, teeth, paws, and even the pup's whiskers were visibly preserved. The image it conveyed was of an animal that had simply paused for a nap, but the story behind it was far more complex. The big question that immediately arose among scientists was, what exactly was this pup? Was it a wolf, a direct ancestor, or perhaps the first example of a domesticated dog? Researchers began analyzing its DNA, but soon realized it contained such ancient and unique genetic code that it defied precise identification. The pup had characteristics not entirely consistent with either modern wolves or current domestic dogs. This mystery led to the creation of a name for the animal, Dogore. The name Dogore comes from the Yakut language and means friend, but more than that, it carries a profound meaning, something or someone whose identity cannot be clearly defined. In this case, Dogore represented the scientific enigma surrounding the domestication of dogs. The 18,000-year-old pup became a symbol of uncertainty and the ongoing search for answers about how dogs, now so closely connected with humans, emerged from their wild ancestors like wolves. Dogore's exceptional preservation was a rare event, as Yukon's permafrost is a time capsule that preserves not only the body, but also the environment in which it lived. The cold climate of northern Canada provided the perfect conditions for the pup's body to be nearly completely preserved, allowing scientists to meticulously study its tissues and characteristics. The discovery was much more than finding a fossilized animal. It opened a window into the distant past, raising a question scientists have tried to answer for centuries. How did dog domestication happen? Canine domestication is one of the greatest mysteries of human history. The most widely accepted theory is that the first dogs descended from wild wolves that approached early human communities, likely in search of food. Over time, humans and wolves began to form a mutually beneficial relationship. Wolves helped humans hunt, while humans provided food and protection. This relationship, which began pragmatically, gradually evolved into a closer partnership until eventually these wolves became the domesticated dogs we know today. However, Dogore challenges that process. The 18,000-year-old pup seems to sit at an intermediate point between wild wolf and domestic dog, making us consider that the domestication process may have been far more complex and multifaceted than we imagined. It's possible that in some regions, wolves were domesticated differently, or that a unique type of interaction occurred between humans and these animals during Dogore's time. By dying so young, Dogore couldn't leave direct clues about how it interacted with humans or what exactly made it distinct. But its early death didn't erase the impact of its discovery on scientific discussions. On the contrary, it only deepened the mystery and opened up a vast field of research into the origin of dogs and how wolves were gradually transformed into our loyal companions. This discovery also brought attention to the preservation of the past. The permafrost preserved not only Dogore's body, but also the traces of a world long gone, a world of vast frozen territories and animals that coexisted in a silent yet essential way within the ecosystem of the time. The fact that both Dogore's body and environment were preserved in such perfection raises even more questions about what else might be hidden in the depths of Yukon's permafrost. How many other pieces of the puzzle of human and animal history might be there, waiting to be discovered? The story of Dogore is undoubtedly one of the most fascinating and mysterious archaeological discoveries of recent times. It represents not only the history of dog domestication, but also an invitation to look at the relationship between humans and animals from a new perspective. Dogore, the frozen pup, became a link between past and present, between wild and domesticated, challenging our ideas about evolution and the bonds that connected dogs to humans. And in doing so, it reminds us that there is still much to learn about the origins of our best friends. Number 7. Zur in 2016. A fascinating discovery occurred in the frozen lands of Yukon, Canada, when scientists conducted excavations that revealed a historic find. Among the remnants of a distant era, the body of a prehistoric wolf pup was found almost completely intact. This pup, named Zur, seemed to have frozen in the middle of a peaceful nap, preserved for thousands of years in a natural capsule formed by the ice. The condition in which it was found was a true scientific miracle, offering a rare opportunity to study the details of a creature that lived over 57,000 years ago. Unlike many fossils, which are merely fragments or broken bones, Zur was discovered in an impressive state of preservation. Its body looked as if it had been naturally embalmed. The wolf's fur, teeth, claws, and even muscles and internal organs were so well preserved that they seemed ready to be studied in detail, as if time had momentarily stopped. It is estimated that Zur died at just a few weeks old, making its preservation even more remarkable. It was a pup that, by a quirk of nature, had its death sealed in such a unique event. Scientists believe Zur was quickly buried after death, possibly due to a landslide or snowfall that blocked its den. This immediate burial, combined with the region's freezing temperatures, resulted in the almost perfect preservation of the wolf's body. Ice, often seen as a destructive force, in this case became an ally, preserving Zur's life details for millennia. The study of Zur brought forth an immense scientific legacy. Through advances in genetics and molecular biology, scientists were able to examine its genetic structure with unprecedented detail. This allowed for deeper analysis of prehistoric wolves, their relationship with modern wolves, and the adaptations that occurred over time. In its short life, Zur became a key to understanding the past, the climatic changes that affected the fauna of the time, and the relationships between the species that coexisted in that part of the world. Additionally, Zur's discovery offered a fascinating glimpse into the fossilization process itself. While many fossils are just bone or tooth fragments, the fact that this was a nearly complete body allowed scientists to study not only the physical aspects of the wolf, but also better understand the conditions that favor the preservation of tissues and organs in such a harsh environment like Yukon. The analysis of muscle tissues and other biological components also brought new insights into the resilience and adaptation of species to extreme climates and environmental challenges. Zur's preservation was a true time capsule. It not only tells the story of a life that began thousands of years ago, but also helps us better understand the wild world of such a distant period. Though its life was short, it left a lasting impact on science, expanding our understanding of wolves, prehistoric ecosystems, and the fossilization process itself. Its discovery is a reminder that, on rare occasions, the past can be brought back to life, revealing details that connect us to the mysteries of a long-gone time, still ever present in our curiosity and search for answers. Zur's legacy lies not only in its preservation, but in how it expands our understanding of the evolution of life on Earth and the extraordinary events that have shaped our planet's history. Number 6. Cave bear. Next on our list is the true titan of the Ice Age. Imagine a bear so massive and powerful that encountering it would feel like facing a force of nature, one that didn't take kindly to unannounced visitors. This prehistoric giant is the cave bear, a colossal and formidable creature, a robust relative of the brown bear, which roamed the caves of Europe and Asia for thousands of years until it mysteriously vanished around 20,000 years ago. These bears were not only large in size, but also in presence. They lived in a hostile environment where extreme cold, hunting, and threats from other predators were part of daily life. Imagine a bear about 3.5 meters, 11.5 feet long, and weighing up to 1,200 kilograms, 2,645 pounds, much larger than the bears we know today. They were true kings of the ice, and their strength and hunting abilities placed them at the top of the food chain. What makes this story even more fascinating is a surprising discovery made in 2020 in the remote Lyakhovsky Islands in Siberia, a region known for its harsh climate and permafrost. Reindeer herders were exploring the area when they found something that seemed impossible: a completely frozen cave bear. And it wasn't just a skeleton or bone fragment, but the full body of an adult bear, preserved in a way that would astonish even the most experienced archaeologists. The discovery was a true window into the past. Despite being frozen for thousands of years, the bear was almost entirely intact. Its skin, teeth, claws, snout, and even nose were preserved in a way that seemed to defy the laws of biology. The state of preservation was so perfect that it looked as if the bear had died yesterday, ready to be studied by scientists. The cave bear found wasn't a cub, but a fully developed adult, making this discovery even more unique. It was the first specimen of its kind found in such a complete natural state. Scientists and paleontologists were amazed by the preservation, As such, finds are extremely rare. The environmental conditions of Siberia, with its frozen climate and permafrost soil, created the perfect setting for the bear to be frozen at a specific moment in history, keeping its body intact for millennia. The body was carefully studied by scientists who conducted various analyses to extract valuable information about the life of this massive predator. The study went beyond external observation and extended into the bear's interior. The brain, internal organs, and even stomach contents were analyzed. One of the most fascinating parts of the research was the analysis of the feces found in the bear's digestive system. To many, this may seem like an insignificant detail, but in the scientific world, even the feces of a prehistoric animal can provide crucial information about its diet, habits, and the ecosystem it lived in. This discovery not only shed light on the life and extinction of the cave bear, but also offered a unique opportunity to understand more about the environment of the time. The Ice Age, marked by an extremely cold climate, was home to a diversity of extraordinary animals, and the cave bear, with its immense strength and predatory skills, was one of the best adapted creatures to that frozen world. Studying its preserved body allows us to better understand how these animals lived, what they ate, and how they interacted with their ecosystems. Furthermore, the preservation of the cave bear's body also opens the door to new research on species extinction. What caused the disappearance of such an impressive species? Was it the end of the Ice Age? Or were there other factors involved, such as climate change or competition with other predators? The bear's feces, for example, may offer clues about its diet and perhaps the impact that the disappearance of its food sources had on it. But it's not just scientists who are captivated by this discovery. To the general public, the cave bear is a true time capsule, a chance to look into the past and understand more deeply the lives of the giants that once ruled the earth. The bear's body, with its near-perfect preservation, is proof of nature's power to preserve fragments of our ancient world. Now frozen in history, the cave bear continues to fascinate and inspire. Its discovery isn't just the story of an extinct animal, but also a testament to the incredible ability of science and nature to preserve traces of a distant time, waiting to tell us their stories even after millennia. And in the end, like any good mystery, it leaves us with more questions than answers, challenging us to keep exploring and learning about the past to better understand the present. Number 5. Woolly rhinoceros. And a cutting wind sweeping across the frozen landscape. Imagine a scene straight out of an Ice Age documentary. Vast snow-covered plains, sparse vegetation, and a cutting wind sweeping across the frozen landscape. In this cold and hostile environment lived gigantic creatures adapted to survive one of the harshest climates Earth has ever known. The woolly rhinoceros, one of the largest and most imposing animals of that era, is the perfect example of how nature can adapt to extreme conditions. This prehistoric giant, with its sturdy body covered in thick fur and protected by a dense layer of fat, looked nearly invincible. Its massive horns and bulky frame made it a true walking fortress. However, what makes the woolly rhinoceros even more fascinating isn't just its impressive appearance or its icy lifestyle. What truly grabs the attention of scientists and prehistory enthusiasts is an extraordinary discovery made in 2020 in the remote region of Yakutia, Siberia, a place where Ice Age remnants are frequently unearthed. During an expedition, researchers from around the world came across something that seemed straight out of science fiction: a perfectly preserved baby woolly rhinoceros. This calf, found in the frozen ground of Siberia, was over 34,000 years old, but still in a remarkable state of preservation. Its skin, horns, baby teeth, and even the hairs on its hind leg were intact. The animal, frozen in an almost perfect state, was a true biological time capsule. Unlike many fossils that deteriorate over time and due to poor preservation conditions, this calf appeared to have undergone instant freezing, almost as if time had stopped for it at that very moment. But what truly amazed scientists wasn't just the state of preservation, but the wealth of information the find could provide. The calf was so well preserved that researchers were able to examine its internal organs in detail, including its intestines, which remained intact. This opened a unique window for scientists to understand not just the biology of the woolly rhinoceros, but also how its metabolism worked, what it ate, and how its body responded to such extreme living conditions. Moreover, researchers discovered that the calf likely died tragically, possibly by drowning, before being rapidly frozen. This quick freezing preserved not only the flesh, but also other biological remains. Incredibly, even the calf's feces were found and preserved, offering a rare discovery. For the first time, scientists could directly study what the animal ate before it died. This type of information, otherwise impossible to obtain, allows specialists to draw a much fuller picture of the woolly rhinoceros's diet and the Ice Age ecosystem. What makes this discovery so fascinating is not just its ability to tell the animal's story in detail, but also the impact it has on our understanding of past fauna. These animals, with their colossal size and cold-adapted lifestyles, were, in a way, the dominant giants of their time. Studying their remains not only reveals their biological adaptations, but also allows us to understand how they interacted with their environment, other animals, and the extreme weather conditions surrounding them. These discoveries are a treasure trove for those wishing to understand not only woolly rhinoceroses, but also how nature functioned during the Pleistocene period, when creatures like mammoths, saber-toothed tigers, and other giant animals roamed the earth. And although the woolly rhinoceros vanished from the planet thousands of years ago, these discoveries show how science, by studying these frozen time capsules, can give us a clearer vision of a world that would otherwise have been lost forever. Thus, the life and death story of this calf is, in fact, a key that opens the door to a fascinating chapter of our natural history, allowing us to glimpse a time when giants walked beneath a cold and relentless sky. Number 4. Woolly mammoth. Hairy elephant. It was a walking tank of ice. Imagine an animal. It's impossible to make a list of imposing prehistoric creatures without it. The woolly mammoth wasn't just a big hairy elephant. It was a walking tank of ice. Imagine an animal with spiral tusks as long as a bicycle, covering its face like living armor, and a body covered with a natural coat resistant to polar cold. It stood about 4 meters tall, weighed up to 6 tons, and had a presence that commanded respect, even in death. But what truly earns the woolly mammoth a place on this list isn't just its size, strength, or grandeur. It's the mystery, the almost mythological fascination surrounding it. The way it seems, from time to time, to return to the surface of the planet as if merely asleep under the ice. One of the most impressive examples of this is Yucca, a young female mammoth found in 2010 in Siberia. She wasn't just a fossil, she was practically a natural mummy. Intact skin, preserved muscles, spinal cord, brain, fur, and the most unbelievable part, traces of liquid blood, liquid, after more than 28,000 years buried in permafrost. It's as if the Earth decided to keep her body in a refrigerated time capsule, just waiting for humans to arrive with gloves and scalpels. And the scariest part, Yucca is not alone. Several mammoths have been found frozen in such perfect condition that, in some cases, it was still possible to see what was in their stomachs. Literally, their last meal frozen in time. There were leaves, moss, flowers, as if time had stopped the exact second the creature fell. Some carcasses were so well preserved that it was possible to count the wrinkles on their trunks. This gave scientists a unique glimpse into the everyday lives of these giants, revealing details about the environment they lived in, what they ate, and even how they died. The extreme cold of the Ice Age acted as a perfect embalmer, leaving behind a legacy that defies the very concept of time. And perhaps the most unsettling part, the woolly mammoth is so well preserved that some scientists are considering bringing it back. That's right, cloning, genetic resurrection. We're talking about the real possibility of seeing one of these beings walking again, not in a cave painting, but in flesh, bone, and fur. The woolly mammoth isn't just an extinct animal. It's a reminder that sometimes the past is much closer to the present than we think. Number 3. Prehistoric horse. But not just any horse, a foal from the Ice Age. Now take a deep breath, because what you're about to hear sounds like it came straight out of a science fiction movie. Imagine a horse, but not just any horse, a foal from the Ice Age, lying in eternal ice for over 40,000 years. Now imagine that this animal didn't turn into a fossil, nor into dust. It's there, whole, with skin, mane, hooves, muscles, liquid blood, and a sense of dignity that makes you wonder, is it going to wake up? That's exactly how scientists felt when they came across the scene. A young horse, so well preserved it looked merely asleep. The place of discovery? The Batagaika crater in Siberia, a growing abyss that, with the melting of permafrost, has been revealing secrets the Earth kept for millennia. They call it the gateway to Earth's frozen past, and it's no exaggeration. This foal belongs to the extinct species Eos linensis, a direct ancestor of modern horses from the Siberian region. When it died, it was between 1 and 2 weeks old. It's believed to have drowned in a frozen swamp, a tragic end, but one that ironically preserved it like no other. The ice wrapped around it, sealing its body like a time capsule, a complete biological archive. And what scientists found when examining it goes beyond anything anyone could have expected. Intact internal organs, flexible muscles, liquid blood still running through veins even after 40 millennia. This challenges everything we know about decomposition, time, and even the possibilities of biotechnology. It's no wonder the scientific community was in shock. This horse is not just a relic, it's a living window into the Pleistocene, and more than that, it represents real hope for genetic studies, cloning, and perhaps even de-extinction projects. It might sound crazy, but we're talking about the chance to bring back an animal that lived alongside mammoths and saber-toothed tigers. The lingering question is, what else is frozen down there, waiting to be discovered? If a frozen horse is enough to leave science breathless, just imagine what else might emerge from this icy ground, where time seems to have stopped. Number 2. Cave lion. Something even more astonishing. In 2017, if the saber-toothed tiger already made you rethink what you know about prehistoric felines, get ready for something even more astonishing. In 2017, scientists made a discovery straight out of a science fiction movie: the almost intact body of a cave lion cub, preserved in ice for millennia. The location? The icy and mysterious Yakutia, in Siberia, a true natural vault that, thanks to the permafrost, preserves relics of the past like time capsules. And it was there, among frozen layers of soil and silence, that they found Sparta. Sparta was no ordinary fossil. She was whole, not a skeleton, not fragments, but a cub with skin, fur, claws, ears, nose, paws, and even preserved internal organs. Scientists were stunned. It was as if she had fallen asleep yesterday, not around 28,000 years ago. Her facial expression, according to researchers, still showed serenity, as if, somewhere in the Ice Age, she had simply closed her eyes for a nap that would last millennia. But the story doesn't end there. The following year, in 2018, another cub was found in the same region. His name, Boris. And if you thought they might be siblings, hold on, Boris is even older, dating back 43,000 years. 15,000 years separate them. Even so, both were incredibly well preserved, which raises a fascinating question. How many more mysteries are still hidden beneath the Siberian ice? These two frozen cubs aren't just adorable in their silent tragedy, they are a goldmine for science. For the first time, researchers were able to analyze practically intact DNA, preserved soft tissues and internal organs, detailed anatomical structure, and even signs of behavior and diet. Sparta and Boris are now helping rewrite what we know about cave lions. This species, extinct for thousands of years, was powerful, cold-adapted, and likely hunted in groups, a more robust and agile version of modern lions with a wild Ice Age twist. But perhaps the most impressive thing is to imagine, if two cubs could survive millennia beneath the frozen ground, what else might be out there, hidden in the frozen silence of Siberia? The answer might be closer than we think. Number 1. Saber-toothed tiger. Perfectly preserved in ice for around 37,000. We kick off our frozen list with a discovery that seems straight out of a science fiction movie: a saber-toothed tiger cub, perfectly preserved in ice for around 37,000 years. This scene unfolded in 2020 on the frozen banks of the Badiarika River in the remote and icy region of Yakutia, Siberia. But this wasn't a Smilodon, the famous museum star with the longest teeth and Hollywood looks. This was his lesser-known but equally fascinating cousin, Homotherium. While not as muscular as its more famous relative, it had its own arsenal: sharp claws, a predator's instinct, and, of course, an icy charm. The most surprising part of this discovery was the level of preservation. Just 3 weeks old when it died, the cub's body was found with skin, fur, muscles, claws, and even whiskers intact. That's right, even after tens of thousands of years, the whiskers were still there, immaculate, as if ready to pose for the cover of a science magazine. Picture the scene: a prehistoric animal that once roamed frozen forests long before the first civilizations emerged, revealed in such vivid detail that it looks like it fell asleep just yesterday. It's as if time paused just so we could witness, with our own eyes, a fragment of life from the Ice Age. This discovery isn't just fascinating, it's a reminder that the planet still holds deep secrets beneath the layers of ice and earth. Creatures from forgotten eras might be waiting to be rediscovered, carrying clues about a world we've barely begun to understand. The saber-toothed tiger of Yakutia didn't just freeze in time, it froze our perception of the past, forcing us to look at it in a more intimate, human, and real way, and it made us wonder what else is out there, hidden in the frozen silence of prehistory, waiting for its turn to awaken. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed our content, make sure to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Don't forget to check out other interesting content. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed our content, make sure to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Don't forget to check out other interesting content appearing on your screen right now, and I'll see you in the next video. See you next time.